Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is start time. Are you ready for start time? Thank you, and thank you very kindly. It is indeed a great pleasure to present to you at this particular time.
It's your boy E-Dale, a.k.a. Mr. Facts, man.
That's facts.
Kick the truth to the young black youth.
That's facts. That's facts.
It's your boy E-Dale, a.k.a. Mr. Facts, man.
That's facts.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to another episode of Facts. It's your host, E-Dale, a.k.a. Mr. Facts. Today's show, got a great guest on, man. So y'all gonna want to hear the show. So today's guest, I have a great friend of mine, a TikTok enthusiast. I mean, she has made her rounds and made her way around TikTok, and it's been really great. So, Theresa, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So, won't you
Theresa, a.k.a. Butterhag.
Okay. Listen, look, I'm interested to know where you got that name from as well. So, look, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
My social media handle is Butterhag. I'm 60 years old. I am a medically retired engineer. I have a degree in computer science, and I have lived in a converted school bus for the last 5 years.
Wow. That is mind-blowing, and I've been watching you. So, look, I mean, how was that, like the school bus thing, like living? How did that happen, the whole thing happen? Was it like a journey you was trying to take or something?
Well, initially, I was living and working in the DC Metroplex, and the housing, the real estate is overpriced there, and I knew that I was approaching retirement, and so I thought I don't want to buy property here, and I started looking at tiny living as a way to lower my costs for the last few years that I'm going to be working and save money, just cram all kinds of money into my 401k. So that's what started the project.
Okay.
It started out as maybe living in an RV, and then I looked at, shipping containers and all sorts of different things that you can do for tiny living, tiny homes, that kind of thing. And then I saw a bus. I did. I also have a Facebook group that's got like 26,000 people in it that are people that are school bus conversion enthusiasts. And, did lots of research and started designing the bus and bought the bus and was working towards moving into it so that I could save money for retirement. And I got very, very, very ill.
Oh, wow.
So the bus actually ended up saving my life.
Wow.
Because it was a way for, I have a mental disorder, and my brain's at that point from stress, and I had significant trauma in my personal life, and I went into a horrible bipolar depression.
Oh, wow.
And it was really, I was finding it difficult to get medical care for a lot of different reasons, and so I ended up moving into the bus without a plan, and filing for Social Security disability, and hoping that on the bus, on the road, I could find a way to get help. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, I did find a way to get help. And now I'm currently medicated and working on a journey, traveling cross country. I've been visiting my followers called Butterhag's Road Trip of Hope, and I got a Netflix documentary that's going to be coming out in 2022, and
wow, you're really busy.
My TikTok page took off a year ago when I got on TikTok, and so that's where the documentary came from and all of that. So man, I am, yeah.
Wow, you're very interesting to say the least. But look, that you got a great story. I want people to hear more about it, but I do want to get into the topic that you and I are going to discuss this evening.
I'm ready. Yeah.
I seen you make posts, and I follow you because a lot of times when I'm on, I'll let you know that I'm watching you when you're live. I always say hello to you, and you always speak back during your lives, and I let you continue. But you were mentioning the Ahmaud Aubrey
Yes.
verdict, and you were saying that I seen you saying that it made you want to cry, and you was with your friends.
Oh, I did cry. Oh,
Yeah.
I did cry when Portia came out and told me that he had been convicted. I really had no idea how much stress and worry and concern I had about that verdict. I didn't realize just how much it was there. As soon as she told me he was found guilty, I busted out crying.
Wow.
I was so thankful.
Yes, because look,
so very thankful on so many levels,
Yes. Because a lot of people, especially me and my community, we all just thought it was going to just be like another one of those things, because it did feel that way that, we weren't going to get justice, or it would have been another black family in the country or in the streets in America that wouldn't receive justice,
That's what I was afraid of too, especially right on the heels of the Rittenhouse case.
You are very vocal, and you're always saying to other white people that they should pay attention and listen. Why do you say that? Because you're a white person yourself. How is that message received when you say that, when you talk about those things?
Well, I have had seriously hundreds, if not thousands of people on my TikTok account who have thanked me for making them realize. I share the stories of the names, and I highlight one story, and then I read all the names in every one of my lives. And some people receive it great, but oh my goodness, I get a lot of hate on TikTok from other white people. My hope, when I'm talking to the racist, hateful people, my hope is that I'm really not talking to them. I'm talking to people who may be in the hallway. When you're live on TikTok, you really don't know how many people are actually watching, because they can watch from the For You page without joining.
Right.
And I'm always hoping that it's not the hateful person who's actually making the comments in my live that hears my message. I hope it's some moderate right-wing person who might hear one of the stories or might hear some of my take on it and start to realize, that, hey, there is a real problem here.
Yes.
Black people are being mowed down. We have white privilege. White privilege isn't about socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter how wealthy or poor you are. You have white privilege.
Right.
And it is, that's what I hope. I hope that I help people to understand the power they have.
Right.
And why it is so different for people of color.
Right. I think your message is received better to those moderates, those white people such as yourself, because I wouldn't be able to explain it to them and give it to them in a way that they make understand, like my point of view or my perspective. They may can to a certain extent, but you are able to convey that message to them, probably a little more clearer, because they probably could understand you a little bit.
I've been there.
I think it's the culture.
I was raised in a racist family.
Right.
I was raised I know if I could change or become awakened, they can too.
Exactly.
And it's just going to take hearing the right thing at the right time to wake somebody up.
And I feel like I'm hearing you say, you wasn't always a champion of these things, but at some point you realize, hey, look, this is just not cool. This is not right.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be happening. When did you come to that point? What happened, or when did you come to that realization or that point?
Well, my racism, the hardcore racism that I was raised in, because I was raised in Wichita Falls, Texas, Holiday, Texas. Holiday, Texas was truly a sundown town. I heard my parents brag about it when I was young. But when I was 16 years old, I had to take a bus ride across the country, 1977. And while I was changing buses in Detroit, I witnessed a Detroit transit cop beat a black man that had a cast and crutches for at least 20 minutes with a billy club. I was waiting in line to board. He was right in front of me, the black man was. I mean, right in front of me. And he was struggling to hold on to a carton of cigarettes, and he had a leg cast on and crutches.
Wow.
And
Horrible.
out of nowhere, seriously, out of the blue, a transit cop swooped in, grabbed him, grabbed all his shit, drug him across the concrete platform, opened a door that I assume was like a utility closet, put him in there, and all I could see was the billy club repeatedly raised over his head while he beat that man. Now, none of the adults in the line ahead of me said anything. None of the adults in the line behind me said anything. I was just watching it in total shock. It happened while all the passengers boarded the bus. He was still beating that man.
And this was your first
experience. I got on the bus and went.
This was your first experience of seeing brutality, against black people.
White police against black, right. And he didn't do anything wrong. I think that's also when I really solidified a lack of trust in police. They're not just black and white. Right. They're not. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that meant that I was never again part of a race crew of people. I never had another race thought in my head, but that stuck with me, and it was, I think, the slow catalyst. It's hard to reject your family.
Yes, it is.
Because of racism.
It is.
And so I struggled with that because my siblings literally raised me. And so when I would reject their racism, I'm actually rejecting them. And it takes a lot of strength and courage. And it took me several years of that kind of thing to absolutely, by the time I had my daughter in 1982, I was on the way to being just completely, a supporter of Black Lives Matter, although I didn't understand the village thing at that point, and I was still really young. Because I raised my daughter to not see color. She never dated a white in her whole life. Right. And so, and even though I was raising my daughter to not be racist and to have an open mind, give everybody an equal chance, I still harbored a little bit. I think it took until I got out of college, and which was in 2001. I put myself through college when I was 36. So in 2001, I graduated college, and as I entered the workplace, just, little life experiences. I became a warrior for better, but because I worked for big companies and corporations, I couldn't speak out.
Right.
I couldn't speak out, but I followed all the cases very closely.
So look, when you, let me just ask you this.
Well,
okay, go
I'm
ahead.
getting to the point about the Ahmaud Aubrey thing.
Okay.
When George Floyd was murdered on camera, I was just completely enraged. I mean, so completely disgusted. And I had a large Facebook group. And I knew that about half of the people there were racist and half of them weren't. But it was a really productive, good Facebook group that I loved. And so I really wanted no politics. That's what I said. No politics. No politics.
No politics.
And then Ahmaud Aubrey got killed right on the tail of George Floyd.
Man. And
the fact that the police covered that shit up because they had an in with the county prosecutor, the whole circumstance of it, I had enough. I was like, that's it. It's fucking it. I don't care about any job. I don't care about any future opportunities I might lose. I don't care about how many family members hate me. I don't care what my schooling group has to suffer. I'm going to start making a statement. And I changed on all my Facebook groups the cover photo that said Black Lives Matter.
Wow.
And I started going in hard on racists in my group because everybody was like, Black Lives Matter isn't political.
Right.
And
Right.
that's where I was making my mistake in my thoughts. That is not, despite the fact that the right has made it political, it's not political.
Right.
And
Right.
that's where my mistake was. It is a humanitarian statement, and I don't want anyone in my life or my group or my world that can't say Black Lives Matter, period.
Right. Wow.
So I got banned from
Mhm.
90 days, and that's when I found TikTok.
Wow.
And I was real vulnerable on TikTok, and I blew up, yeah.
Wow. Listen, you really did, because I love watching you. And listen, for the viewers out there that's listening, Theresa Glover, a.k.a. Butterhag. Listen, follow her. She has great content. She has a great message. And look, and it's for the right cause, man. I mean, I think that equality it doesn't matter who it is, justice for everyone, you know. It doesn't
Humanitarian, that's right.
Yes. And listen, I'm telling you, the way you're traveling. So look, when the verdict came down, and you said that you cried. So have you been following the whole Ahmaud Aubrey trial? Did you follow the trial?
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, of course I did.
How
As closely as I could. It's hard to get connectivity in the bus and when I'm traveling across country. But that's why I didn't know the verdict. I just arrived to visit Portia, and she told me as soon as I got here. But yes, I was following. I watching the body cam footage of the first cop that arrived at, not the first cop, but I saw a body cam footage of a cop who had just arrived on the scene, and he made his way to all three defendants eventually, talking to them briefly.
Right.
And when those men, the McMichaels and the Roddy guy, when they to that first cop, it was so obvious, in my opinion, that they thought they were going to get away with it because of their connections to law enforcement.
Right.
And crooked law enforcement pissed me off so bad.
All of
I
us.
I know all of us, but oh my God. It just, because
Yes.
it's important that we be able to trust them.
I'm glad people
And
listen.
every time,
I'm happy. I'm happy people. I'm happy my viewers hearing this from you, right? Because they should hear it from different people. I like different people on my show. You know, from all backgrounds, people from all. You know, from. Because I just think it's important that we hear the point of view of everyone, and people hearing you say this, and they don't even know you. You know, I know you. We haven't officially met, but we've spoken on several occasions. Through social media and things like that. But I think it's important that the community hears you and listen to your message. So I just wanted to say that before I stopped you. I hated to stop you like that because you was going in, but you have a great message, and we love you. I mean, we love you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So look, okay.
I'm going to keep fighting. I mean, I have to. It doesn't matter if you love me or not. I can't stop.
Right. And look, don't stop. So look, let me ask you another question. Why,
Okay.
How do you feel about that, like, black people that can't even run or jog in their own community? I mean, like, I'm just trying to understand, like, what would be in someone's head just to stop someone while they're jogging? Like, what is the problem with that? Like, why is that such an issue, a black man jogging in a neighborhood? Well,
he was seen on the video camera a couple of times, although he never did anything to the property. He didn't steal anything, even though there were lots of things there to steal. And every single person that I have talked to has walked through a house of construction. You know, it was broad day. He didn't touch anything, but the most important thing is that the 911 operator told them, don't follow him. Just like they told George Zimmerman.
Wow.
And when they said that, McMichael put the phone down, and you hear him holler, trash, and they head out. McMichael's dad was on the 911 call that I heard, and he hollered for his son. His son grabbed his gun, and I mean, the whole thing, it's like jury and executioner because of the person.
Yes, I mean, that's exactly what it was. I mean, just watching it.
They were judge, jury, and executioner on a man that they had no evidence that he'd done anything wrong.
Yes, and that's very disturbing, right? Because, look, we're like in 2021.
Right.
I mean, Theresa, it's like, my God. Look, I'm afraid to even go out places sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Look, I have to put my license.
I know that.
Let me tell you, I have to put my license and registration in a Ziploc bag and put it over my visor so I don't have to reach if I'm pulled over, or when I'm not going to say if, but when I'm pulled over. You know,
when you're pulled over.
Yes, when I'm pulled over. It's not a matter of if.
You don't have to fear the police. When I drive down the street, I get scared if I see a cop, if I know my registration's expired, if I know my insurance is expired, if I know I was speeding, if I know that I just did something stupid in traffic and looked up and there's a cop. That's when I get scared. And I realized just how I started saying in my lives and stuff, I believe that all black people in America have PTSD. And it was not for more evident than I was writing with the producer of the Netflix documentary and in Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
And I watched his physiological and physical reaction at just meeting a cop at an intersection.
Wow. Yes.
You know, his uncle was beat, not to death, but eventually he died from his injuries in Louisville. And he was calling 911 asking them for help.
Wow. It's hard.
Leon Brackens.
Listen, and I do agree with you to some extent that black people, we do have PTSD. Like, I always say this to people in my community about seeking help and talking to someone. Find someone that looks like you, that you can talk to, that knows what you're feeling, that know what you're going through. That's important for a black man because we need to be able to talk and think constructively about issues like this. You know, we need to be able to sit down and express how we feel, you know, because growing up, it was hard. You know, when you had to suck it up. It was like your dad say, suck it up. This is how life is. This is just how your life is. Just suck it up.
Yeah, just suck it up.
This is how your life is going to be. You know, you're going to walk down the street and the cops are going to harass you. You're going to go to jobs. They're going to look at you because of the color of your skin and think that you're not educated or can properly articulate yourself. They're going to look at you. They're going to look at the way you dress. They're not going to understand the culture. They're not going to understand you, your nappy hair.
Hush.
But that's just how life is, you know. So that's kind of like growing up for a black person. So
I know you know what I mean? It's the thinking about. You cannot live every day in fear that the very people who are sworn to serve and protect you could kill you at any minute without having PTSD. That is traumatic. Seeing George Floyd murdered is enough to cause black people PTSD.
Right.
Seeing Rodney King beat on the side of the road. You hush. I'm sorry, I got a bus full of dogs.
You're okay.
Seeing Rodney beat. You know, it's traumatic to mothers who worry about their sons and their daughters. I mean, anyway, I feel really passionate about it.
Listen, and I love your zeal. Trust me, and I think that it's well received. I mean, I think that you can't be human if you can't receive that message. You know what I'm saying? You have to be,
That's right.
I think that people
right.
that are not empathetic wouldn't receive the message. I mean, you know, because some people think that they should be able to stop you on the street. You know, because I grew up when I was younger, even though I didn't grow up in New York City, but I remember the stop and frisk, right? I grew up in North Carolina, in Kinston, North Carolina, and the police there when I was growing up. I'm 42 now, and this was when I was 15, 16. If you had Timberland boots or baggy jeans, you know, you were pulled over by law enforcement, you know, and labeled as a drug dealer, you know. So, but that was just the style in the community, you know, how we dressed, you know. A lot of things. So, you know, I think that these experiences...
They're judging everybody by an experience they had with a single black person, you know?
Well, some of them haven't even had an experience with a single black person, and that's what's so scary about the situation. I mean, some of these people had no encounters with each other, or even with black people because they choose not to, or because they do have encounters with them because they're forced to now, even in the workplace. It's like you have these hidden cultures and hidden cultures. You know, it's like it's there,
Right.
but it's not there. You know, if you're really not looking, you can't see it. You know, so
Right.
so America's
It's there, and it's there really bad. Politically incorrect to be a racist, and so racists went undercover for a long time, a couple of decades. White people, and this is speaking from a white person who hung around, majority of my friends and acquaintances were white. I saw a drastic change after Donald Trump became president.
right,
With the willingness, and actually after Obama became president,
right,
with the willingness of these same white people who would have, whispered when they said the N-word or alluded to the N-word or
Right.
alluded to, they just started being really blatant. And,
right.
it was...
Yes. So how did you feel about that situation? Trump becoming president? Like, what did you? Cause I don't know if I heard you then on. I think I may have heard you at the end of his presidency on social media.
Right.
But look, he never even. Look, black people know that Trump, he don't like us, and if you think that he does, I mean, you're just delusional. Especially in the community I live in. I mean, we know he doesn't like us, and so why are people emboldened? Why are white people emboldened by his words, by Trump's words?
Because he is a person in power in a leadership position who echoes their hate, and he echoes their hate because he knows that's what they want to hear. He doesn't give two shits how he becomes the dictator of the United States.
Right.
Whether it's by pandering to the right or pandering to the left, he's going to pander to whatever he thinks is going to get him the most votes because he wanted to be a dictator.
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
he really did. And you can hear that in his speeches if you listen to it from the very beginning. He would never say anything coherent, but the little buzz things that he would say told us.
Yes.
Told me anyway. Told me he plans to be a dictator.
Yes. And he tried that as well. On January 6th, leaving out the presidency. Yep. I mean, we've never seen anything like this in our lives. I mean, in America, as far as white people storming the Capitol like that or taking over. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I mean, I've never seen anything.
I knew it was going to happen.
They was planning on taking over America. I mean, like, had they overthrown Congress, what do you think would have happened had they overthrown Congress?
If they'd gone in there and hung it like they were going to and thrown all of that shit over, I don't know, because we've got so many radical people in our military. It's concerning to me. I think there would have been a big civil war. I think that Trump would have taken it upon himself to take his military friends and try to do the coup. That's what he wanted. He wanted a coup.
Wow, that is crazy to want absolute power. I mean, He wanted absolute
I didn't vote for Donald
power.
Trump. I didn't vote for Donald Trump, and I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton.
Listen, I'm not sold on Biden. I'm not sold on Biden myself either. I mean, he's done a lot of damage to the black community as well. I mean, I just want people to realize like who their leaders are. You have to take into account who your leaders are. You know what I'm saying? These people wrote laws to keep you in prison, which is a form of slavery. I mean, once you hit that rabbit hole, and once you get there, life after that, not just being black, but being black with the felon, as a felon.
That's horrible. I think that, oh my God, don't get me started on that shit. Holy cow. Here's the thing. I didn't vote for either of them because I thought that if that was all we had to offer, we deserved what we got.
Exactly.
And when he got elected, here's the thing. That was terrifying. 2020 was terrifying for me and for a lot of people.
Right.
But what he did for this country is he showed us he wasn't smart enough to pull the whole thing off, and he showed us he brought the racists out from the floorboards so we can squish them like the fucking cockroaches they are. He pointed to every single weakness in our Constitution that could be used to overthrow the government.
Yes.
But his message was too hateful.
Yes.
And he's too reckless. So, the election.
Yeah, so look, why are all the politicians scared to just go against him? I mean, you know, you won't hear Republicans go against Trump. I mean, they're just standing.
Let me tell you, there's a good story for that. I wrote a delegate for the state of Texas for the Republican National Convention. He needed to go to the Republican National Convention in 2016 and cast a vote for who the Republican candidate for president would be.
Right.
He went at that time, if you remember, right before the Republican National Convention, all of the leaders, even all of the big Republican leaders, were talking mad shit about Trump.
Right.
All of them. Remember, they were all hated him. They were all making fun of him, all that shit. He went to the Republican National Convention prepared to vote against Trump for their candidate. They didn't poll the delegates. They didn't count delegate votes.
Wow.
They came into that convention and just announced Donald Trump was the candidate. Now, I don't have facts to support what I'm about to say. But if you go read the history of Vladimir Putin and how he slowly and quietly just got rid of all of his opponents in order to take power in Russia, you will realize that he probably got dirt on them from Russia or some other source that he can blackmail them with.
Right.
That is why, no matter how many crazy, stupid things he does, all of those leaders, he got dirt on them.
Man, and that's what I'm saying.
They swung at the last minute.
Every one of them are dirty, but they're acting like they're so clean.
Every one of them are dirty.
I get it. And look, it makes sense. So, how do you know listen, let me ask you this. You must follow this stuff pretty seriously. How do you know all of these things? I mean, you just follow the news, or, I mean, just sit around and, talk, because you know quite a bit. So, I mean, how do you
I'm old. I'm old.
You're not that old. You're not that
I've
old.
always been, I'm 60.
That's not old.
I have, oh, hush. Stop it. Just stop. I've always been politically active. I was going to political science in college until needing a scholarship from the state of Texas required that I switch to something like computer science. So I made my minor political science, and I was the kind of political science student that would take the president's speech with me to class.
Wow.
Because at the time I liked George Bush. I know, I was wrong. I liked George Bush. I wish he hadn't been led by those fucking crooked Republicans in Washington. But anyway, I liked George Bush when I was in college. And I got sick of my professor saying shit about him that wasn't true. So I would print his speeches out and take them to class with me. And when my professor would say something, well, he said blah, blah, blah last night and blah, blah, blah. I said, no, he didn't. And he said, yes, he did.
So you
and I said, no, he didn't.
Professor.
Here's his speech right here.
Okay.
I have his speech. You want to see? Oh, no, that's okay.
Wow.
Okay.
You
I have always
class,
been...
Did you get put out of class?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Oh, no. They love me. I didn't put out of class, but what could he do? Honestly, I got an A in that class. He couldn't do. I aced the class, and I just wasn't going to have him say things that weren't true. So I pulled the speech out. I said, "You want to see it in the speech?" No, that's okay. Right in front of the whole class. That's the kind of political activist I have always been in my heart. I mean, my daughter, when she turned 18. Now, this is a child that never got out of bed a minute before noon with fucking blowtorch under her ass. Excuse my language. She never got out of bed before noon without a blowtorch under her ass, but the day she turned 18, she was up at 7:30, fully dressed, ready to go, because she was excited. I get to register to vote today.
Wow. Wow, that is great.
Now,
that is great.
You know, that's the kind of, I've always been that way, and I just haven't always been able to speak out about it.
Well, that is wonderful, Ms. Butterhag. I got to say, you are very, very amazing, intriguing, and every great word in the dictionary, you know.
Well, thank you so much.
And I'm
love also pretty crazy. I got bipolar. Don't get it twisted.
Okay, well, listen, we're here to help you. Listen, we're here for you, and I'm sure the viewers that are listening, they love you. And I'm happy that we had a chance to do this show, and while it's ending, because it's about to end.
Okay.
What are you doing next? Tell my listeners that may be interested in following you. Like, where can they follow you, and what's next for Butterhag?
Well, you can follow me on Butterhag on all the things. And on TikTok, I'm all the social media things on Butterhag. I'm the only Butterhag. I got the name, by the way, from a Facebook person who was mad at me, and he was messaging. He said some horrible, filthy things to me in a private message, which really didn't bother me. But one of the things that he said to me was, "You're just a Butterhag." Wow. He meant to say bitter hag, and he said butter hag. And I was like, huh, I kind of like that.
I kind of like it as well. It's different.
I'm butter hag.
Listen, it's different. I've never heard it before, and when I seen it, I was like, and that's what made me tune into your page. I seen you talking, and I was like, who's this white lady right here talking? You know, so let me click on butter hag, and when I heard you, immediately I said hello and come on my podcast. And how long ago was this? When I did that?
Oh, that was a good 8 months ago, maybe longer. Actually, it was last year.
Yes.
End of last year.
I heard
now
you.
I'm on the road.
Yeah.
I'll shut up. I keep talking over you. I'm sorry.
Listen, look, when I first heard you, immediately I wanted you on my show, and I've been trying to get you on my show since then, and you're here. And listen, I would love for you to always be able to come back, you know, and let's do more shows. Oh,
absolutely.
And talk about more things. Because
the next thing I'm doing in the bus is taking a little bit of time and going to the beach. So if you tune in and follow me, you'll get to see me drive my bus onto a beach and see my bus is run by solar. So we need to get you to North Carolina. When are you coming to North Carolina? I'm not sure. Maybe next spring, late spring.
Well, look,
early
you need
summer.
to come and we need to do a live podcast with you here when you come, and we need to announce to the people when they come so they can show up and hear you and see you and meet you.
We will do it. We will do it. I don't know for sure it's going to be this spring, but you'll get a live interview from me.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. So look, I thank you, Theresa, for coming on today. Sharing your thoughts about Ahmaud Aubrey as well, because that's what we were discussing earlier. And
thank you for having me.
His family got justice. We're grateful for people like you in the world. You know, we need more people like you in the world, and we need your voice. So don't stop. Continue.
I won't stop. I promise. No matter what.
All right. So look, man, my viewers, I just left with the great TikTok, great to be a legend, Theresa Glover, a.k.a. Butterhag. Y'all make sure y'all follow her, man. She's very special, man. Great message, great content. You can always see her. Follow her on her trip across the country. And look, that's another show on Facts, man. So look, until next time, your boy E. Dale, a.k.a. Mr. Facts. I'll be back. Peace.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is start time. Are you ready for start time? Thank you, and thank you very kindly. It is indeed a great pleasure.